was Monday, December 21st of 1992. Christy Mirak had woken up early, like always, and got dressed in some festive red corduroy pants, a cream-colored turtleneck, and some white sneakers. She had placed some wrapped Christmas gifts near her front door. They were just some little presents for the class of 6th grade students that she taught and adored very much. Her roommate said goodbye to her as she left to go to work at about 7, but Christy didn't have to be out until 7:30. In the kitchen, she made some toast and ate about half of it, and then she got her curling iron nice and hot to do her hair before she went to leave for work. Between 7 when her roommate left and 7:30 when she was supposed to go to work, something happened. When Christy didn't show up for work, the principal, Harry Goodman, got extremely worried. She was known for never being late, especially without calling in beforehand. After not hearing from her at all, he drove over to her apartment on Schoolhouse Lane to make sure that she was okay. As he pulled in the driveway, he seen her car was still there, and he noticed the driver's side door was slightly ajar, just a little bit, enough to make him a little more worried. When he opened her front door, the sight he seen was something that he would never forget. Christy had been beaten, SA'd, and strangled. There was a wooden cutting board laying near her body, which was believed to be used in the attack. Though one interesting detail here is that she was still wearing all of her clothes, including a coat and some gloves. DNA was collected from her body, but this was the early 90s, technology wasn't really there yet, so dozens of men were tested and no one matched. The case went cold for 26 years. Then, in 2018, investigators turned to genetic genealogy. Using public ancestry databases, they worked with Parabanana Labs to create a family tree based on the killer's DNA. Eventually, it led to a man living right there in the community. The police followed him to an event and collected a used water bottle and a piece of gum that he threw out. And it was a perfect match. The killer was Raymond Rowe. He was a popular local DJ who went by DJ Freeze. He'd performed at weddings, school dances, fundraisers, hell, he even did some stuff at Christie's school. He'd even spoken publicly about her case and attended events in her memory. He'd been there watching the whole time. In 2019, Rowe pled guilty to her SA and her murder, and he was sentenced to life without parole. Ashley Wadsworth was just 19 when she left her hometown of Vernon, British Columbia, and boarded a flight to England to meet Jack, a guy she'd known online since she was about 12. After years of talking, they made plans to live together in Chelmsford. It was all a dream come true for this young couple. Ashley posted lots of photos on social media of them on outings and even just their day-to-day life. But behind the camera, things weren't looking so good. Jack had a violent past. He'd assaulted a previous girlfriend, and even his own mother had filed a restraining order against him. But Ashley didn't know that. By late January of 2022, she did know something wasn't right. Friends at her local church said that she started showing up with bruises and other markings all over her. She told them that she was terrified. Jack had threatened her, and it seemed like all roads just led to a horrible ending. In an attempt to save herself, she booked a flight home for February 3rd, and she made it very clear to Jack that she was leaving him. On the morning of February 1st, just 2 days before she was supposed to go home, Ashley messaged her neighbor and her friends begging for help. Jack was hurting her and even threw their cat at a wall. A few hours later, those same friends received more texts, this time from Jack claiming that she was fine and just overreacting. But by then, it was already too late. One way or another, the police were notified that something was going on. I couldn't find much info on this, but they busted through the door at 4:13 p.m., which is when they found Ashley lying lifeless on the bed after being stabbed more than 90 times and strangled. Jack was beside her, FaceTiming his sister and showing her what he'd done. There was a knife on the floor, which I assume was the knife used, and there was blood everywhere. Like, this was genuine nightmare fuel. Jack didn't run or resist arrest at all. In fact, he had recorded a video confession on his phone, panning over Ashley's body as he explained what he did to her. He said he'd had a psychotic episode. Later in custody, he wrote a letter to Ashley's family apologizing and blaming intrusive thoughts for what happened. He said he'd wished he'd just walked away. Jack Seppel pled guilty and was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum term of 23.5 years. Make sure to hit that follow button for more spooky stories and true crime cases.